The member for Solomon.
Thanks, Deputy Speaker. 2 weeks ago, a 30-year-old woman known as AK and her 14-week-old baby were found dead at a Central Australian outstation. A gun and the body of AK's partner were found nearby, and NT police are investigating the murder-suicide. It was a devastating discovery for AK's family, her surviving children and our NT community. It was also devastating how little media attention the deaths have attracted. We haven't publicly grieved them as a nation the way we've grieved other victims, and that's worth reflecting on. Every woman's life and every child's life should be treated with value. Such deaths cannot continue to fly under the radar, and violence must be held to account. First Nations women in Australia experience some of the highest rates of violence of any population in the world, and it accounts for 3 out of 5 calls NT police receive. But of course, this isn't an issue just to do with First Nations communities. Nationally, 1 woman dies every week or so at the hands of their former or current partner. We obviously need to do better. We must do better to protect women and children and to stop violence from occurring in the first place. I was proud to secure an election commitment for $3.2 million in funding for DV providers in my electorate. And I look forward to working with the NT Government, Dawn House and the Darwin Aboriginal Islander Women's Shelter, DAWS, to deliver funding to provide more safe accommodation for women and children fleeing danger at home. Now, earlier this year, I met with a number of Darwin groups that provide domestic and family violence support who are doing tremendous work under extremely difficult circumstances. And they have told me repeatedly that the Territory is in dire need of needs-based funding. Our violence prevention services cannot keep being funded on a per capita model when the rates of disadvantage, the rates of violence, the rates of abuse are so high. Our services are overstretched and underfunded. Only a needs-based funding model will begin to tackle the crisis we have. And I'll continue to advocate to my friend and colleague, Minister Rishworth, to overhaul how funding for these services is allocated. And I'm proud to be part of a federal government that is committed to ending domestic and family violence. A real impediment to women escaping is that they feel financially trapped without the money to rent a house and to get set up or meet their kids' needs. They should never have to choose between their safety and their wages. And that's why this government is ensuring that workers can access 10 days of paid leave in order to deal with the impact that violence is having on them and their families. The coverage of casual workers is important, as women experiencing such violence are often employed casually. They need this certainty. This will be a lifeline for so many, and it is long overdue. The government will also release our national plan to end violence against women and children in October. It's on all of us to confront and stamp out violence at every level. I commend the men in my electorate that are standing up against violence, including Charlie King and the Catholic Education Office in my electorate. Their message is simple: no more, no more. I want to commend Charlie for something else too, for pointing out that women do not have "See you in the NT" stickers on their cars for a reason. That's because the slogan has a dark underbelly and is detested by many women. They know that for many, it's the last word they hear before they're knocked unconscious or worse. No good man beats a woman, and not all family and domestic violence comes down to the man, but for everyone, let's say no more and work